All right, welcome back to the working week, such as it is. It is Carco and Carne, sponsored by C&H Financial Services. Business owners are continuing to figure out their way to deal with the coronavirus and how to conduct business, and C&H Financial Services is here to help. They offer a variety of products ranging from traditional merchant accounts to a zero-cost payment processing solution, which eliminates the expense associated with accepting Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and American Express as a form of customer payment. C&H Financial Services eTab solutions, easy to set up for your business for online ordering and curbside pickup. They also offer cost-effective commercial lending programs, or they offer cost-effective commercial lending programs to help get your business the money it needs to make it through these unprecedented times. To learn more, contact C&H Financial Services at 855-600-2437 or go to chfs.us. You know, it is a Monday. There's no better day to talk about the blues than a Monday, because that's when it hits us. My guest tonight, how about this? He is internationally acclaimed blues star Dave Specter. To my left, I don't know how it translates in the world of social media or Facebook. Dave Specter also plays a bunch of roles in the Chicago Blues Network. We'll talk about that. The other gentleman, Billy Branch, a harp god, 3-time Grammy nominated. Played on more than 150 recordings. This is a blues summit. Thank you for joining me, guys.
Hey, thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, good to be with you, James.
Let's just start with what brought you together, the two of you together most recently. Right out of the gate, let's talk about the Ballad of George Floyd. It seems like blues have long been a perfect platform for talking about social problems. Here we are in 2020. You went right for it. Tell me about that song.
Well, I wrote the song shortly after George Floyd was murdered, and it kind of wrote itself. It was really disturbing to me, and I've been, without gigs basically since March, like all of my fellow musicians, and I've had a lot of time to think and write and try to find other outlets other than playing live. So I wrote the song actually fairly quickly, and I've known Billy for over 30 years, and first as a fan, and then we've become friends, and we had talked about collaborating for years, and I thought this was a really good song for him to sing and play on. So I reached out to him, pretty soon after I wrote it, and I was like, hey, we should record this together. So I sent it to him, and the rest is history.
It's a powerful song, and I guess a question for both of you. Talk about the power of the blues to convey emotions and feelings, because the blues are something you feel when you hear it, when you see it live. Tell me how, I guess, speak to that.
Billy?
Well, I've always, especially in recent interviews, I've stated that I felt that the blues is probably the most powerful music on the planet, in that it is so universal because it speaks so directly to the human condition. You can say everybody gets the blues. You can't say I got the rock and roll, I got the jazz, I got the hip hop. It's what, and as Willie Dixon, who I was mentored by, I was in Willie's band for 6 years, and Willie always, his most famous, two famous quotes, he read, definition of the blues was the roots, all of the America's music was the fruits, but he also stated that the blues is the facts of life. And it's very apparent that the whole world in some form or another is going through the blues right now. And because the facts of life with the pandemic and the other turmoil that political and social turmoil, challenges of social injustice, this is global. So the blues is the perfect musical vehicle to express these kind of sentiments.
I've always felt the blues, yeah, they hit those emotions, they reflect those feelings. They also kind of lift you up, like, okay, this is what's going on, we can get to a better day.
Right. Well, the blues singer, contrary, a lot of people, the uninitiated, they have this stereotypical view that the blues is sad and depressing. And of course, we know it's quite the contrary, because if you go to a blues club and your girlfriend or your wife has left you for another guy, and that guy's up there singing about it, you feel like, yeah, man, I know what you're talking about. It's consolation, it's therapy.
How'd you know that happened to me, Billy?
Because you play the blues so well. One thing I pointed out in previous blues related interviews, there is, for people overseas and who don't live in America, there's almost a mystique to it, because it's such a uniquely American sound and art form that for people who aren't from the US, there's something almost exotic and exciting to people who don't live here. I mean, you guys have been all over the place. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that, yes, a mystique, but there's just here I think it's taken for granted.
I agree.
There, especially in Chicago, where there's just, more blues probably than anywhere else in the world. But, just just like many American art forms, from jazz to film, the blues is really much more respected overseas as an art form, and we're treated with more respect and adulation as artists, and it's wonderful. I've played in 20 countries. Billy's probably played in 40, but it's another world, and it's one of the reasons that a lot of American musicians have moved overseas, especially to Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So, Billy, you mentioned Willie Dixon. I was just a kid, back in 1990.
Mm-hmm.
In 1990, I remember I went to see, it was like a blues, not a festival, but it was a big ensemble of blues performers playing at the Erie Crown Theater in Chicago. Willie Dixon was on that bill. Again, I was just a kid. My memories are scarce. I just knew that I wanted to see it because I thought it would be a really cool thing for me. Were you part of Willie's band back in 1990? I can't remember.
No, I had left by then. I had left the band probably by 1981, I want to say. Yeah.
My years are way off.
Yeah. I joined his band, I think around 74, 75, somewhere in there.
And that was a master class on learning the blues, I'm sure.
Oh man, that ultimate school of higher learning blues. Willie was, he ate, slept, breathed the blues, and I couldn't have asked for a better all-around education in terms of just the significance, in addition to becoming a better musician. It was like you had to walk the line, along the line of fire, because I had to, number one, I replaced Carrie Bell, who was already a famous, established, one of the best living harmonica players at that time. And so Willie actually kind of nurtured me, into becoming a much better musician.
Dave, you mentioned how the blues are more well received overseas, or it's just a different perspective. Tell me what the Chicago Blues Network is, because it sounds like this is a way to elevate the blues back here at home.
Yeah, the Chicago Blues Network is a combination of a lot of moving parts. And one of the things that we do is, and one of our main outlets for teaching is going around to various blues festivals around the country. And say we go to the King Biscuit Blues Festival in Arkansas, people can sign up to study with the faculty, which is all made up of all professional blues musicians, including Billy and myself. Unfortunately, with the pandemic, we haven't been able to travel, so we're doing a series of online lessons. And we also started in in late spring, we started doing live streaming shows with a top flight video crew, which would do 3-camera shoots. And we would put together, kind of like all-star lineups of artists with people like Jimmy Johnson and John Primer and Mud Morganfield and Billy Branch and many of our faculty, including Billy Flynn and Harlan Thurston and so many other musicians. So we've tried to do that twice a month and keep the music alive, as obviously we can't go out to clubs very much.
Right. I speaking of master class, I mean, those are the people to learn it from. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and we also have a social impact, social justice element that our founder Scott Weil is very passionate about, and it's very timely that this song, "The Ballad of George Floyd," has come out. We actually premiered it at one of the recent live stream shows.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. Tell me what Trading Fours is.
Trading Fours is just the title we're using for the live stream shows.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, it's basically an old jazz term, when musicians trade 4-bars solos, and it really kind of the groove of what we do.
So, Dave, it was last year you put out Blues from the Inside Out.
Right.
Your debut as a vocalist. You sound great.
Thank you.
From a collaboration perspective, I mean, here we're talking about Ballad of George Floyd with Billy Branch, but Yorma from the Airplane, Jefferson Airplane, Hot Tuna, How Low Can One Man Go? What a great song.
Thank you. I could write a new verse every day.
Every 5 minutes.
I've been saying I'm at the point now where when it comes to the news, I'm treating it the way some people treat drinking coffee. Like, I don't want to follow the news after 3 p.m. because it'll ruin my sleep. That's the way some people, I can't have coffee after 3. It'll mess me up. That's the way I feel about news and online comments in the present day.
You're a wise man. Yeah, you got to pace yourself.
The title track of Blues from the Inside Out, this is like your version of blues propaganda. This is seeking salvation in the blues.
I've never heard it described that way.
I can't imagine you have.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's kind of, it's based on truth. I co-wrote it with my friend Bill Brichta, and I think it kind of I've been paying my dues for 35 years, and I didn't have the opportunity to play with anybody quite as heavy as Willie Dixon, but starting out with Sam Lay and Hubert Sumlin and Sun Seals and so many others, and one of the lines in the song is listen to the bluesman stories, find out what it's really about. You just pay your dues and play these blues from the inside out. It's all about how we express ourselves personally, and it's a big part of. It's a huge part of how I express myself. It's like it's what I do.
And I think you explained it beautifully. The blues to me has always been reverential to what has come before. As an artist, you want to find your own path forward, but you always are cognizant of everything that happened and built up to where you are in the present day. There's that respect for the past.
Definitely. Yeah. And I was lucky, I'm a native Chicagoan, and I immersed myself in the blues scene from the age of about 20, and got to study and learn and play with so many real legends.
There's a song on the new album, on the new Dave Specter album, or latest Dave Specter album, Ponchatoula Way. Lots of good time, Louisiana type vibes. This is a far cry from the northwest side of Chicago.
Yeah, my two favorite musical cities in the world are Chicago and New Orleans. I give Austin third place, but I love New Orleans music very much. And I had the music for the song, and I gave it to my co-writer, Bill, and I'd never heard of Ponchatoula, and he had been there and wrote most of the lyrics. And, I have influences in many places outside of Chicago. So I think that's where the music in that song comes from.
Jumping to Billy Branch's most recent release, Billy Branch and the Sons of Blues, the songs of Little Walter. Little Walter, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, bluesman from the South who found his way, as many did, to Chicago.
Mhm.
A wildly influential harmonica player. You devoted a whole album to him, and this speaks to the reverence I was just talking about with Dave. Tell me about Little Walter. What he means to you.
Well, Little Walter, I've come to understand that Little Walter is probably the most influential harmonica player of any genre. And I can say that because in my visits around the world, in recent visits to China, I was in China, performing in China last 2 years. And I did a harmonica workshop, but they had a school, a harmonica, blues harmonica school in one of the provinces I went to. And they're teaching Little Walter style. I was in the Andes Mountains of Ecuador. You know, I'm also known for working with youth, my Blues in Schools program. I'm one of the pioneers. I've been teaching youngsters since 1978. I'm in the Andes Mountains. And I can speak semi-fluent Spanish, and I'm teaching my classes in Spanish. And I invited some of the students to come up and, you know, jam and play on the microphone. A couple of them were trying to play like Little Walter. And I found this in Japan, throughout Europe. But Little Walter, yeah, so his influence is just so vast, transcending international boundaries, ethnic. It's just, he's everywhere. And he can best describe, one way he's described is kind of like the Charlie Parker and the John Coltrane of blues harmonica. He was such a genius. His solos, even today, sometimes just defy comprehension. It's like, how in the hell did he think of this? Because you listen to, number one, he may have not been the very first person to do this, but he is certainly the person that took the concept of a microphone and a harmonica through an amplifier using distortion and feedback to a different level. So when you're listening to Little Walter, or if you listen to any modern day blues style harmonica player, the harmonica is not going to sound like what you normally think of a harmonica as sounding. It sounds more like a horn or something else because of the distortion and the feedback element. And Little Walter pioneered that. And you know, before Hendrix and other guys using distortion on guitars and feedback, it was said that Little Walter's million-selling #1 hit, Juke, which reached #1 on the Billboard R&B charts in 1952. It was a million seller. That had never happened before. Here's a harmonica instrumental. It was said that the jazz musicians would gather around the jukeboxes trying to figure out what instrument he was playing.
That's amazing.
Wow.
When Little Walter, when he broke out as a star, the price of harmonicas went up.
Because
also,
everyone wanted to be like him.
everybody wanted. Also,
Be right back.
And I used to sit in with his band, the Aces. You know, Little Walter died tragically, age 37 in 1968, brain injury from a fight. Dave Sam Lay, who you mentioned, the great legendary Sam Lay drummer, told me the story of when Little Walter called him the night preceding his death the next day.
Wow.
He told me, yeah, but Little Walter, when Little Walter became so popular, they said that you could not get a job in Chicago playing blues if you did not have a harmonica player. It was mandatory. And that was because of Little Walter. So on that album, in addition to presenting what we did with that album, the concept was we did part traditional arrangements and we added our own Sons of Blues touch. And we also had the added bonus of having Little Walter's daughter, Marion, tell
Yes.
the anecdotes about her famous father.
That is fantastic. And I don't want to overlook at the end of the 90s, there was a collection of songs, super harps. It was like the A team of harmonica players in the blues. It was you, James Cotton, Charlie Musselwhite, Sugar Ray, all doing your stuff. I love that album. I love Route 66 on that one.
Yeah, thank you. And preceding that, I did Harp Attack with Junior Wells, Gary Bell, and James Cotton. Yeah,
amazing. Amazing stuff.
Thank
all
you.
right, so looking forward, first of all, I strongly recommend just have awareness of this song, The Ballad of George Floyd. It's a fantastically done song. There's nothing more timely than this song right now. It's out there. Listen to it, please, if you're listening to this podcast or watching right now. Moving forward, though, can we find you both online as part of the Chicago Blues Network? Is this where we'll see you until this dark cloud lifts and we can go out of our houses?
Yeah, it's definitely one of the places to look for us. We have a new website, Chicago Blues Network, that's hopefully launching within the next week or so. But right now, athomechicagoblues.com is our landing page. And I've got an outdoor show actually coming up on Friday.
So today is, if you're listening, it's October 5th today. So this would be October 9th.
9th, yeah. I'm playing up at the Evanston Space Summer Stage outdoor, safe and socially distant tent.
Nice.
Hey, David, since we spoke, I've got a weekend gig too. Yeah, hallelujah. I've just got a weekend gig either Friday or Saturday in Griffith, Indiana, out in the park, an outdoor mini festival.
And here's the amazing timing. The weather, I think, is supposed to be great all week.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, I hear 70s this weekend.
So, I mean, for you guys who live for that give and take with the audience, who live to perform, I can't imagine what it's like to just be able to play and see people grooving on what you're doing just after this time away. It's got to be, it brings back all the reasons why you started playing in the first place, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, we've never gone this long, even close to this long, without playing.
Right.
When we get a chance to do it, it feels great.
I did the first live performance with an audience with my band was at Fitzgerald's a couple of months ago. Prior to that, we hadn't done anything before a live audience since March, and the people were so appreciative, and people are hungry. They want to hear their live music. They want to hear their musicians,
No, I'm one of them. I'm right there with you. All right, Dave Specter, Billy Branch, what a true pleasure talking to both of you tonight. You're tremendous, world-class talents. It's a real thrill to be able to meet you and hear your stories tonight.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
I'll second that. Thank you, James. Pleasure to be with you, man.